One warm morning, the grove shimmered in golden light, leaves dancing in the gentle breeze as the Buddha meditated peacefully. Disciples gathered, forming a quiet semicircle, their anticipation palpable as they sought wisdom from the enlightened one who embodied profound serenity. Among them was Jivan, a potter with furrowed brows, carrying a cracked clay pot that mirrored his troubled expression. "Master," Jivan began hesitantly, his voice trembling slightly, "I am consumed by failure. My work reflects imperfections I cannot overcome." The Buddha opened his eyes, his gaze soft yet piercing, as if he could see the layers of Jivan's heart. "You perceive failure where there is simply existence," the Buddha said calmly, his words flowing like a clear stream. Jivan tightened his grip on the pot, its sharp edges a reminder of his inadequacy in striving for perfection. "This pot," he muttered, "was once whole and flawless. Its crack now mocks me, a symbol of my inability to create." The Buddha gestured gently, inviting Jivan to sit closer, the disciples parting slightly to give room for their troubled companion. "What is a crack but a passage?" the Buddha asked, his voice carrying both inquiry and assurance. Like a soothing melody, the disciples leaned in, their curiosity ignited by the question that seemed to ripple through the air like a gentle breeze. Jivan looked at the crack in the pot, puzzled, unable to decipher the meaning behind the Buddha's cryptic statement. "I will tell you a story," the Buddha offered, leaning slightly forward as if weaving wisdom into the fabric of the moment. "Long ago," the Buddha began, "a woman carried water from the river daily, using two pots tied to a wooden pole. One pot was flawless, preserving every drop, while the other bore a crack, leaking water with every step she took. The cracked pot felt despair, convinced it was useless, incapable of fulfilling its purpose with dignity or wholeness. Yet, over time, flowers began to bloom along the path the woman took, nourished by the water from the cracked pot." Jivan's eyes widened slightly, the imagery of flowers blooming along the path sparking a flicker of recognition within his heart. The woman smiled, the Buddha continued, as she admired the beauty the cracked pot unknowingly brought into her journey each day. The crack, perceived as a flaw, became a channel of life, gifting the world beauty neither pot could achieve alone. The disciples murmured softly, reflecting on the words that danced between metaphor and revelation, finding resonance in their own lives. Jivan bowed his head, tears gathering in his eyes, the pot in his hands taking on new significance beyond its imperfections. "Master," he whispered, his voice trembling, "are you saying I am like this pot, cracked yet capable of bringing beauty?" The Buddha smiled gently, his expression infused with warmth and assurance, his presence radiating a calm, illuminating glow. "We are all cracked pots," the Buddha affirmed, "and within those cracks lie our pathways to connection, growth, and contribution to the whole." Jivan lowered the pot, his grip softening, as if the weight of his self-judgment had been lifted, leaving a lightness behind. "You do not need to be fixed," the Buddha said, his tone serene yet resolute, "for you are already whole, as you are." Desire transforms joy into torment, yet calmness transforms torment into growth. "Once, a merchant sought my guidance." Jivan placed the pot carefully on the ground, its cracked surface gleaming softly in the sunlight, no longer a source of shame. From that day forward, Jivan's pottery bore intentional flaws, each crack a testament to his understanding and embrace of human imperfection. As the disciples dispersed, the Buddha watched them go, his serene smile reflecting the timeless wisdom he had shared through simplicity. The grove held its calm, the stories of its gathered seekers adding chapters to the ever-unfolding teachings of the enlightened one. Through cracks and flaws, through moments of despair and revelation, the Buddha's words echoed, "You are whole, no matter your shape." Another day, The morning sun kissed the earth as the Buddha and his disciples entered a bustling village filled with life. Merchants called out their wares. Children ran laughing, and the air vibrated with the chaos of daily human activity. Among the crowd stood Punya, a scholar with heavy scrolls under his arm, his expression shadowed by doubt and confusion. He approached the Buddha, his steps hesitant, his heart heavy, feeling the weight of answers he could not find. "Master," Punya began, his voice trembling slightly, "I have studied scriptures, yet my mind is troubled and restless like turbulent waters." The Buddha turned to him with eyes that seemed to pierce through the layers of anxiety clouding Punya's thoughts. "Come with me," the Buddha said, his tone calm and assured, inviting Punya to join the disciples seated nearby. The village fell into a hush as people watched the Buddha guide Punya to a shaded spot under a banyan tree. The Buddha picked up a small bowl of water from nearby, the surface undisturbed, reflecting the surroundings with pristine clarity. "What do you see?" the Buddha asked Punya, holding the bowl steady, his voice soothing as gentle ripples in a stream. "I see my reflection," Punya replied, his gaze fixed on the water, the image clear and sharp, calming his tumultuous thoughts slightly. The Buddha stirred the water vigorously with his finger, causing ripples and distortions to obscure the reflection once visible. "And now?" the Buddha asked, his tone unchanged, the motion deliberate, his gaze steady. As the village grew silent, "I see only chaos," Punya said, his voice tinged with disappointment, as though the swirling water mirrored his tormented mind. The Buddha set the bowl down carefully, letting the ripples subside until the water regained its original stillness and clarity. "The mind is like this bowl of water," the Buddha said, his words flowing like threads of understanding weaving into Punya's soul. "When desires, fears, and turmoil disturb it, the reflections of truth become distorted, fragmented, and difficult to grasp. But when allowed to rest, when freed from agitation, the mind returns to its natural state of clarity and peace." The disciples listened intently, their hearts opening to the simple yet profound truth unfolding through the Buddha's analogy. Punya's expression shifted slightly, his scholarly pride tempered by realization, as he gazed at the now settled water before him. "Master," he said softly, his voice infused with humility, "I have sought answers in books, but peace cannot be found there." The Buddha's serene smile carried the weight of wisdom beyond words, a silent affirmation of Punya's unfolding understanding. "You need not seek peace outside yourself," the Buddha said, his tone gentle yet firm, "for it resides within you already." The villagers murmured in awe, observing the transformation in Punya, whose doubts seemed to dissolve into the stillness of clarity. From that day onward, Punya ceased his frantic search for truth in external forms. Turning inward to find the peace he sought, he joined the Buddha's disciples, carrying not scrolls but the lessons etched into his heart, exploring his mind with newfound awareness. As the banyan tree swayed gently above, the Buddha watched his disciples and villagers, their lives touched by his teachings. Even amidst chaos, even in the turbulence of existence, the Buddha's words echoed the mind. "When still, reveals its infinite potential." Another day, the forest welcomed the Buddha and his disciples, its towering trees swaying gently in a rhythm of nature's harmony. Birdsong filled the air, mingling with the rustling leaves, as sunlight danced through the canopy, illuminating the tranquil scene below. The Buddha settled beneath a sprawling tree, his serene presence drawing seekers from far and wide, eager to absorb his wisdom. Among them was Maya, a young girl with tear-streaked cheeks, her steps faltering as she approached the gathering with trembling hands. "Master," Maya began, her voice trembling like a fragile leaf, "I have no family or home. I feel utterly alone." The Buddha turned to her, his gaze gentle yet penetrating, as though he could see the invisible threads of her soul's sorrow. "Sit here," the Buddha said, gesturing to a nearby spot, his tone inviting, holding the promise of solace and understanding. Maya lowered herself to the ground. Her shoulders hunched, the weight of her pain visible in every movement she made. The disciples grew quiet, sensing the unfolding of a moment that would touch their hearts as profoundly as their minds. The Buddha picked up a fallen leaf. Its edges curled, its surface speckled with marks of time spent away from its tree. "Do you see this leaf?" the Buddha asked Maya, holding it gently between his fingers. Treating it as something precious, Maya nodded, her gaze fixed on the leaf, its simplicity captivating her attention despite the storm within her heart. "This leaf," the Buddha began, "once belonged to this great tree. Receiving nourishment from roots that reach deep into the earth, it has fallen, separated from its source. But its journey is not over, for it now serves the earth in another way. The leaf decays, returning to the soil, feeding new life, creating a cycle that connects all parts of existence together." Maya's tears slowed as she considered the Buddha's words, the imagery of interconnectedness offering a faint glimmer of comfort. The Buddha gestured to the forest around them, its towering trees standing strong, their roots invisible yet intertwined beneath the surface. "Look at this forest," the Buddha said, his voice resonating like the whispers of the wind. "Each tree stands tall, yet not alone. The roots beneath intertwine, sharing water, nutrients, and even messages when one struggles, sustaining each other without ever being seen." Maya's breath caught as she absorbed the Buddha's words, her loneliness pierced by the realization of unseen connections around her. "You are like this leaf, Maya," the Buddha continued, his voice tender and assuring. "Always connected, even when you feel alone. You belong to the great tapestry of life, woven into the threads that bind all beings and all moments together." The disciples bowed their heads, touched by the profound truth, the forest around them echoing its silent agreement with the Buddha's words. Maya reached out, her fingers brushing the leaf, feeling its fragile surface as if she could sense the life it still carried. "Master," she whispered, her voice steadier now, "even though I cannot see these threads, how can I believe in their presence?" The Buddha's serene smile mirrored the light breaking through the canopy above, illuminating the shadows that lingered in Maya's heart. "The forest does not question its roots," the Buddha said gently, "nor do the leaves despair their fall. For the connections endure. Faith is not in what you see, but in what you feel and know to be true within your soul." Maya's tears ceased, replaced by a quiet awe that settled in her heart, like a gentle breeze calming turbulent waters. "You are never truly alone," the Buddha said, his words flowing like the river that nourished the trees. "Bound to all life, you are whole, Maya, part of the ever-moving cycle, inseparable from the beauty and strength of existence itself." Maya's gaze swept across the forest, the towering trees now symbols of resilience and connection, the ground alive with unseen purpose. The disciples stood silently, their hearts expanding as they grasped the infinite truth the Buddha had revealed through his simple, profound teaching. The forest whispered through its leaves, echoing the wisdom spoken beneath its shelter, binding all who heard to its eternal rhythm. Maya rose, her movements lighter, her soul freed from the weight of isolation, her connection to the world rekindled with warmth. The Buddha watched her with a serene smile, his presence radiating peace and understanding, guiding her steps toward newfound clarity. The forest held its stillness, its invisible threads weaving into the stories of all who passed through its nurturing embrace. In the heart of life's complexity, the Buddha's teachings lingered through connection and acceptance. We discover the wholeness that has always been ours. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.